How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another festive bake. I call these my last minute ham and cheese rolls because they are perfect for a last minute bake. All the ingredients should be readily available in your local shop and they're super easy to make. They're relatively quick too, and the result speaks for itself. You've got a super soft roll packed with meat and cheese. Top it with some cranberry sauce, and trust me, people will be fighting for these at the table. But there's plenty to go around, so let's get right to it and see what we need to make them. We'll need a large baking tray with some non-stick paper, a bowl, scales, a dough scraper, a temperature probe, a brush, and ideally a serrated knife. Now on to the ingredients. We'll need some strong white bread flour, yeast, salt, sugar, soft butter, milk, some chopped up rosemary, an egg for glazing, and some more butter for brushing. Now you could fill them with many different ingredients. I chose the most basic things that were in my local shop. Some ham, some turkey, and this plastic cheese. It is super fake, but it works perfectly. And we got some Frenchie's yellow mustard, just for a bit of tang. Now we're kneading this dough by hand, so I'm using cold milk, because the dough will warm up. If you watch my videos, you know that normally I use even colder milk, or we are making a larger dough, so that's why the milk is slightly warmer this time. The smaller the dough, the more it warms up as you knead it. But let's get back to mixing. In a large bowl, combine the milk, yeast, salt, sugar, and the rosemary. Now mix everything well. You want to dissolve the salt and sugar and hydrate the yeast. Now add the butter and follow that with the flour. Then grab your scraper and mix it to a dough. Mix it in a bowl until there's no more dry flour left. And if the scraper's not doing the job, continue on by hand. Normally I would tell you to add the butter later on in the mix, but because it's only a small percentage, we can add it from the get-go. I wanted this recipe to be super simple, so I made it with as little steps as possible. Okay, now tip the dough out on the table and start kneading it. It is not sticky. I'm using my regular kneading method. Pressing down and forwards with the heel of my right hand, then using the fingers of my left hand to fold the piece of dough under the heel of my right hand, then turn it and repeat. It's a large piece of dough, so it takes slightly longer. About 7 minutes of kneading should do it. But once it's nice and smooth and uniform, pop it into the bowl and take its temperature. Around 26 degrees Celsius is just about right for this. If your dough is warmer, it'll ferment more rapidly. If it's cooler, it will take longer. Same goes for your kitchen temperature. I'm gonna cover this up and leave it for 3 hours. You want it to double in size. And look at that, it's puffed up beautifully, it's full of air. That's exactly what it should look like. If yours needs longer, leave it for longer. So right after bulk proofing, we can do the final shaping. Drop the dough out on your table and dust it generously with flour on both sides. Start with flattening it out by hand, just to get it into a general shape before you take the rolling pin. It's always a good practice to start by hand, because when you go to roll it, it will open up more evenly. And we want to roll this to a nice big rectangle. Take your time, don't rush this. Make it nice and even and straight. And look at this, it's huge, it's filled up the whole frame. It should be about 60 centimeters or 2 feet long. Here's my arm for reference. Now finish it off by hand. Make sure the edges are nice and straight. Now we can start filling it up. First comes the mustard. This is only for flavor, so don't go too heavy on it. Squeeze it all over. Then take a brush and spread it out. If you don't want mustard, well, you can use some ketchup instead, or some barbecue sauce. Now layer up the cheese, the ham and the turkey. And now we can roll it. And if you ever made cinnamon rolls before, this will be very familiar to you. The main thing here is to do it slowly and gradually. Start with the bottom edge, make sure it's tight, and then keep going. This is quite a wide roll, so there is a bit of back and forth going on. And if there's someone who could lend you a hand, then ask them for help. I managed this by myself, but with 2 people, this will be far easier. Just be sure to roll it nice and tight, and catch the ingredients into the roll. Don't let them slide forwards. And as this is slowly taking shape, it's looking pretty cool. I'm already hungry. You may have noticed that I've left an edge at the top. That is for sealing up the roll. Wet your fingers with a bit of water and brush that edge. And then pull it over and stick it to the roll. The water will act as a glue and prevent it from coming undone. And by the way, have you seen that red button under the video? Give it a quick click. They'll help me out. It won't cost you anything. Once you have finished sealing up the roll, you can pinch the seam together to really make it stick. At this point I realize this thing's absolutely massive. My chopping board's not big enough. But it's okay, we'll make it work. Take your largest chopping board and place your roll onto it, diagonally if need be. Now you want to brush the roll with butter, all over. This will not only make it taste nice and buttery, it'll also make the rolls easy to separate. Right, now it's time to divide this. This recipe makes 16 rolls, so first we'll cut this in half. and I kinda measured it with the blade of my knife. You can of course get a measuring tape out. This cut is the most important one. Whenever you're cutting a roll like this, don't just press the knife straight down. Go back and forth in a sawing motion. That is why I always suggest using a serrated knife. Pressing the knife down will squish the roll, but we want our rolls to be nice and round. Now cut them two in half, then cut each half in half, and you guessed it, cut those halves in half again, and you should end up with 16 equal sized rolls. And now arrange them on a tray. You can of course arrange them in a square if you want, but I decided to go with a diamond shape. So I started with one at either end, then I went with two, then three, and then four down the middle. Make sure they're all evenly spaced. And if you have a larger tray, then leave larger spaces in between them, because they will puff up quite a lot. Now cover them up for the final proof. It'll take around an hour and a half to 2 hours. During the final hour of fermentation, preheat the oven, 170 degrees Celsius with a fan on. And that is 340 degrees Fahrenheit for my American friends. And look at them, they're puffed up beautifully. Now we can glaze them. Take the egg wash and brush them all over, and also brush the sides. As a last minute addition, I decided to sprinkle them with some poppy seeds. I had some left over from my poppy seed roll video. Be sure to check that out. And saying that, check out the Breads of Christmas playlist. I got about 17 videos there. Right now it's baking time. I know these things are not huge, but they will take some time to bake, around 40 minutes. You can turn the tray around halfway through the bake to get a nice even crust. But once they're puffed up and beautifully golden brown all over, they're ready. Now you just need to crack open the cranberry sauce and enjoy. They're really soft and fluffy. And they taste amazing, although we only use the bottom of the barrel ingredients. But what do you think of this recipe? Let me know down in comments. And if you have any questions or suggestions, also let me know. Be sure to check out some more videos and click that subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.